What is up, guys, and welcome back to another career mode episode on F1 2020. This is episode 2 of the My Team journey, where we create our own team in Formula 1, be the 11th team, and we're here for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Check out the first episode, which I uploaded earlier today. You might have missed it, so go check it out. I'll leave a link to it in the description. For those of you who have seen it, massive thank you to you guys for the support on that first video. It's been absolutely incredible to see how much you guys have been enjoying this series, and I want to endeavor to get this out for you as much as possible. I'm going to hopefully make this a daily series for as long as I can, as well as continuing to upload other types of videos. So if there's any other things you want to see on the F1 2020 game, let me know. I want to have a focus on setups and hot laps and online videos this year, as well as a few other things which I still have in the pipeline. Anyway, here we are for some housekeeping. We were just assigning some activities for the team just to boost some of the team acclaim that we just did there. And now we are going to sign a secondary sponsor. So our team went up to team acclaim level 2, which means that we've unlocked another sponsor. And so this is just going to open up the cash flow a little bit for us, which is absolutely crucial to being successful in this career mode. Money is what runs the world, and it especially is the case in my team career mode. So you can have a focus on trying to get R&D points and everything, but really the thing that really matters is earning money and making sure you can achieve your goals and getting in that weekly income bonus and goal bonus. And so we've gone for Atlantic, who have a really high weekly income. Their goal bonus isn't the best, but just having that solid weekly income in will really help with, just ticking along and helping us upgrade the facilities, because that's really what we need. So, yeah, the goal that they set was completing 75 laps over the course of a Grand Prix weekend. That includes practice, qualifying, and all the laps that my teammate does. So we need to make sure that we are consistent, we're, I guess, durable, we're reliable. So yeah, there's so much depth to this year's career mode. It's absolutely insane. What we have done is spent some resource points on upgrading the facilities. We've improved the engine department. It means that they'll be earning more resource points every single week in real time as we fast forward through the year. So yeah, we did that. We amended an upgrade which failed on the engine power side, and then we've also done a reliability upgrade for the ICE. The engine is one of the fastest wearing components of the car. If you guys have played career mode, you'll know that. So important to address that early on. But now we move through and we're just chucking some Atlantic sponsors on the car. We're having a look at what best suits and where to put it. Quite funny that we can have the money come in, but we still have the choice to not put them on the car. So we could really screw them over if we wanted to. But yeah, we get the choice of where to put it, and we can also change the color. You also note that when you get an additional sponsor on, it'll go not only on the side of the car, but what I didn't know until later on is that the sponsor will actually go on the nose and somewhere on the halo. Anywhere on the front of the car, basically, it can go on. But yeah, we're going to move on now to the next race weekend, that being the Bahrain Grand Prix. At the start of every episode, that's when I'm going to do all the management side of things, so you guys can stay up to date with what I'm doing. So we spent our resource points, we spent our money to upgrade the facilities, we brought in an extra sponsor, and we did have a look at the driver market briefly. If there's any teammates you want to see me rope into the team down the line, also feel free to let me know. But I'm very happy with Mick Schumacher's progress so far. He's a very speedy boy, so I don't imagine we'll be spending the big bucks on drivers just yet. We really need to work on the car first. And look at that, Mick is doing an amazing job. P15 in practice 1.6 seconds off the pace, which is, it's pretty good for a startup team, which is only in their second Grand Prix. We simulate practice 2 and 3, we get some more resource points, and we'll spend those at the end of the episode, or maybe at the start of the next one, depending on the timing. I still need to figure out how the balance of this career mode series is going to be. I feel like I'll leave all of the housekeeping stuff to the start of each episode. So we might see that where we spend those resource points in the next episode. But anyway, it is time for qualifying 1. We're heading out there in our BTEC McLaren. We got Benjamin Daly on the front right corner of the car. If I'm there, who's driving the car? That's what I want to know. But anyway, off we go. For qualifying 1. Bahrain is a track which is very strong for the AI historically in the F1 games. And I imagine that that's going to continue here. So I would imagine that qualifying here is going to be a big struggle to get off the last row of the grid. But as always, the goal is to beat our teammate. We're going to see if we can out-qualify Williams, who do have a slower car than us. However, they did make some solid inroads heading into this round of the championship. But first run is done, and we're, oh dear, 1.1 seconds slower than George Russell. And Latifi is faster than Russell, so the end is near, it seems, in the world of Formula 1. We're going out for another run. I feel like maybe we need to lower the difficulty for qualifying. This has always been a problem in the F1 games, the AI being ridiculously fast in qualifying, and it seems like more of an issue on this year's game. But I'll hold my breath. I won't make any drastic changes just yet. We're going to hold station. You can see we're up by 3/10, so that's a solid start to the lap, and we'll see how we finish off as we head into the triple left-hander. The times that I've done so far, they haven't been horrible. I'm not driving horrible at all. I'm actually driving really well, but it doesn't seem to be enough. 1.1 seconds off the nearest car. No, it's actually not that bad. I think it was 1.1 seconds off my teammate, that delta was. But yeah, we're 3.3 off the pace. So as we head out for the final time, we've got it all to do in this qualifying session. And we're not getting out of Q1, that's for certain. But let's see if we can at least out-qualify Latifi, maybe. I'm going to give it everything on this lap. Middle sector, we can see we're approaching nearly a 10th up as we negotiate some of the slower speed corners. And like I said in my earlier video today, I feel like I struggle a little bit at lower speed. I'm just keeping an eye on my throttle and brake traces. I do carry the brake decently. Maybe I could do that a little bit more. You can definitely brake later on F1 2020 than what you can on last game. And sometimes I do find myself maybe not pushing the limits in terms of the braking. That could be a problem here, but I feel like the biggest issue is more or less the AI just being unrealistically fast in qualifying. In the race trim, it's fine. It's actually really balanced, if anything. But in quali, 1 lap pace, can't match them for love nor money. Can I buy better skills, please, for my own driver? That'd be nice. Final corner, up to the line, and it is probably still last place in this Bahrain Grand Prix. Vettel gets provisional pole, and yeah, we're miles off anyone. 9/10 off our teammate. Wonderful stuff. Oh, let's go to the race.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it.
Good day? What?
You lost to your teammate today. Was it just not your day?
Yeah, let's say that. I'll give full credit to Mick. He's a beast over 1 lap.
You won't be starting at the front of the pack. Are you worried?
Not really. I'm not driving a Mercedes. Thank goodness for that. So, yeah, we got to have realistic expectations at this stage.
Well, here's hoping they're working hard to find some improvements.
We're here again then at a circuit famous for its stunning visuals and thrilling battles for glory. Who will take the spotlight in the Bahrain Grand Prix today? A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Now, let's talk about Charles Leclerc. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Alright, here we are for the race. I know I might have sounded a little bit down after that qualifying result, but trust me, I'm fine. I am remaining optimistic heading into the race. I know that the race pace is always better. That even applies for like league racing and stuff. Qualifying, it seems, as time goes on, gets worse. Maybe it's the old, I I don't know. It's the trait of racing drivers. They get slower in their old age. Oh, depressing. Anyway, let's go to the race. 5 red lights. We're going to see if we can be aggressive on the strategy, but that is all up for debate, all up in the air at this stage. We'll take the race as it comes. Not a great start. Again, the AI... Oh, no, they're pretty good at starts. I need to get better at them, let's be honest. At turn 1, we gain a couple of places. Everyone getting bottled up into turn 1. Shock horror. I'm not left any space at turn 1 once again. We've got an AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly trying to come back at us on this first lap. You can see Kvyat up ahead, trying to torpedo one of the Williams, maybe both of the Williams. Crucially, I don't know how, but Williams have managed to find their way up in P18 and 16. No. I swear Latifi is up there somewhere. He's had an amazing start. So I don't know how they pulled that off. Williams amazing off the line, it seems. We're going to see if we can work on George Russell here around the outside through the middle sector. This thing doesn't have the greatest downforce in the world. That is apparent in this second episode. I have lowered the wings in this one. So I've tried to be a bit more aggressive with the setup in this one, just to suit the characteristic of the track a bit more. Bahrain is a power circuit, and as such, I've lowered the downforce to like 4 wings. We are lacking a bit, like I said, we're lacking downforce a lot in this car, but we're lacking a bit of rear downforce as well, so the balance isn't quite there. It is a little bit snappy here and there, but we are being ultra aggressive with that in an effort to just get some speed into this thing. We got Max Verstappen, who is, I don't know what's happened to Max. I think he had a grid penalty for this race, and he didn't have a good start either. He's trying to work over Mick Schumacher at turn 1. Horrible exit out of turn 1 for him, and he'll be going back to the drawing board, I suppose, in the following laps. But it's P19 for us. You can see Mick right behind us, 2 tenths separating us, and you've got Max Verstappen literally right up Schumacher's chuff. So let's see how that unfolds over the coming laps. Here comes Mick up the inside into turn 1. So the inevitable is happening. We're being overtaken by our second driver teammates, and we're being made to look a bit silly out here. Not quite though, as he didn't get the run that he desired, and it's P20 for the time being. Come on, Mick. Hold up Verstappen, and let me get on with the job. My pace isn't bad, it's just everyone's quite fast at this stage. I think as the race goes on, we'll get a bit stronger. You can see Mick coming up the inside now into turn 1. Will he make it stick this time? He's got better track presence, and he is through. Let's see if we can run at the same pace as him, as we see Max Verstappen in the wall on the exit of turn 3 there, and I think he might well be out of this Grand Prix. Now, you'll need to have a closer look at this, because I didn't shove him into the wall before you're aggressively writing in the comments. He's made that mistake on his own. So he's opened the DRS, and he's just lost the rear end of the car. The Red Bull is a bit snappy this year, and that's evidence right there. Max just couldn't hold on to it. Opens the DRS. Jeez, he really didn't have to turn the wheel much to lose the back end there. But it's very interesting to see the mistakes creeping into our competitors' game this year. Max Verstappen is out, and the safety car has been deployed in this Bahrain Grand Prix. So that opens up the race massively. A couple of people staying out. One of the Ferraris, one of the Red Bull, Alfa Romeos, I think, at the front. There's an Alfa Romeo at the front of the field. I don't know how that's possible, but we're going to double stack here at Marduk Motorsport. They delivered me an amazing pit stop in my first race. This one just isn't living up to expectation already as we block in George. And that's Latifi. I can see the Canadian helmet there. So he'd be absolutely raging. Rejoin on the circuit on the hard compound tire. It looks like a lot of people are on softs now. So a lot of people opting for a 2-stop strategy in this Bahrain Grand Prix. We've gone for the hards, and the intention here is to go to the end, essentially. But it looks like everyone else will be making an additional stop. How is this going to turn out? We're too slow for the safety car as well, it seems. So maybe I'm just the pay driver of the field in this year's game. It's not looking good for me. But I promise I'm not driving horribly. I probably do need to invest in setups a little bit. So after this round of pre-recorded episodes is done with, I think I've recorded about 4 or 5 episodes of career mode so far. From about episode 5 or 6 onwards, we should have some setups to use and we'll be a bit more competitive against those around us. And just naturally, I'm going to get better at the game over time. But it's restart time here for this Bahrain GP. Everyone was going really slowly prior to the restart. I couldn't really get any heat in my tyres. I'm on the hards as well, so they're going to have a longer fire-up time to get in their window of operating temperature. And you can see we've just been left for dead. We're on tyres that are 2 compounds harder than just about everyone else around us. So naturally, they're going to be dropping off the face of the earth, at least for these first few laps. But we will phase into this a bit nicely. Raikkonen, who was leading the field, having not made his stop, is getting absolutely hounded by everyone. And he's the cause of that massive train that you're seeing on your screen. But we've got our teammate, Mick Schumacher. It looks like he's got an engine failure already, and it's only race 2. So that does not bode well for the reliability of this car. I needed Mick to be completing this race weekend. We just got that new sponsor on board, and we need to complete 75 laps over the course of the weekend, with Mick missing the second half of the race. I'm not sure if we're going to meet that sponsor bonus or objective that they've set for us. So that could be a big blow for us. But we're already seeing pit stops for the AI. Everyone getting off their soft compound tyres and getting onto the hards of all compounds. Wow, that's interesting. I would have thought if you're doing a 2-stop, running the softs twice, you could get away with running the mediums towards the back end of this race, but everyone has opted for the hards, so this might really play into our favour here. It's P10 in this Bahrain Grand Prix, and really, the advantage that the AI have is only minimal, because my hards are only 6, 7, 8 laps older than theirs, and we're on the same compound. So with 12 laps to go, we're in the box seat to get some points here. It looks even better now on lap 18 as we've got more people diving it into the pit lane. Some of these guys, however, Carlos Sainz leading the train of the medium runners, quickly followed by Antonio Giovinazzi, who's making a move on one of the racing points. Oh, they're going to be near on impossible to keep at bay. And then you throw into the mix more people who are diving in. Esteban Ocon and Alexander Albon also on mediums. So these guys, I said it would be hard to keep Sainz and Giovinazzi behind. Well, I tell you what, keeping Ocon and especially Albon behind, I don't know why, but Albon and Ocon is a bit of a tongue twister for me, and I get confused. Keeping these guys at bay is going to be nigh on impossible, and you can see that's already evidence here as Ocon is having a really solid crack at us into the middle sector. It's allowing the likes of Sainz and Albon to catch up. So please, I mean, you're going to get in front of me, just get in front of me, but don't cost me time, please, as he completes oh no, he attempted a whirling move around the outside through the middle sector, but unfortunately he fell off the circuit and rejoined in a really awkward way. We'll see another replay of this. He just kind of swerves back onto the circuit. This is the view. He swerves on really aggressively when I was kind of there on the racing line. It's normally the onus is on the guy who is off the track to rejoin safely and not into the path of someone else who's already there. But meanwhile, it's all cracking off behind us. You can see Sainz and Giovinazzi fighting away, Ocon and Albon fighting away. It's pretty ridiculous, and here I am in Marduk Motorsport on the hard compound tyres in one of the slowest cars in the field, holding down 5th place with 9 laps to go of this Bahrain Grand Prix. I couldn't believe it. With such a short amount of time to go in this race, we're holding such a solid position. We're about to lose all of those positions now, but the fact that we're in the fight here is very encouraging. This is only race 2. We haven't brought in the upgrades to this event, but the strategy has well and truly been on point from Mr. Benjamin Daly once again. I'm just a one-man band at this team, it seems. It's all about to come crumbling down for us here. As you can see, Albon having a nice little run at us into turn 4. Will he get the move done though? He still has the inside for the next right-hander. I think it's probably for the best if we just let him go here. He does have some front wing damage we've just noticed there on the front left end plate. Still gets the move done anyway. That is the sheer performance of the Red Bull. Although being a bit of a the walking wounded, it seems, still faster than me, and he actually dives it in for another stop, so he's opted to get rid of that front wing, which is ailing him. I feel like he would have been better off just sticking it out there on the wing that he's got. He just cleared me, but no, he's opted for the pit stop. Anyway, Ocon gets past us in the meantime, and that demotes us to P8. But now we have to worry about Lance Stroll. Now, the guys who are on hard compound tyres, they're the targets that we need to finish in front of. They're the guys who I rate myself a chance of beating in this Grand Prix. Their tyres are only 5, 6, 7 laps fresher than mine. So let's see if we can make something work here. Let's try and make this VTEC McLaren as wide as we possibly can. We are not running overtake into the final corner. We're opting to save that out of this last one, and then we're going to punch it past the racing point if we can. We do have DRS. Back into overtake. Let's see if we can make this work for us and turn defense into attack as we make the move on Lance Stroll. Here comes Daniel Ricciardo up the inside of all of us on the medium compound tyre. It's 3 wide at turn 1, just casually. Do we have the inside? Yes, we do! Come on, Ben! I can't believe I'm cheering myself on like that. I genuinely forgot that was a thing, but I managed to pull off a 3 wide moment there. 5 laps to go in this Bahrain Grand Prix, and we're doing everything we need to for the time being. The longer we can keep the medium compound runners behind us, I guess the more beneficial it'll be for us. Their tyres will wear out faster, and the delta between the 2 tyres will be less the longer we can keep him at bay. But he gets up the inside into turn 4. Not really doing anything with that though. So a bit hesitant there from Ricciardo. Didn't follow through with that. And we hold on for the time being. Will we hold on at the end of this straight though? The Renault is pretty fast in a straight line. We're deploying all of our battery here. We've just switched it back down to medium. And Ricciardo having the outside line through turn 1. Again, we have the supremacy there. So Ricciardo really being patient here. He really doesn't want to get himself tangled up in an incident. He tries to go around the outside there. Geez, if you're trying to pick a smart place to overtake, that is not it. Just ask Alex Albon on Lewis Hamilton. But again, we see Ricciardo hounding us into the final corner. Will he get the move stuck this time? Come on, Daniel. Just man up a bit. That's just poor. I feel like maybe the AI needs to be improved a little bit at their side-by-side running, because really, Ricciardo should have got the move done about 3 or 4 times by now. This time, it looks like he might finally get the move done, or will he? No, poor traction. Poor traction for the Renault, and we're through once again. DRS, we get the DRS as well. So I'm making the most of this situation. Ricciardo is being very tentative here. It's very un-Ricciardo-like, it seems. But we're making it work for us here in this Bahrain Grand Prix. 3 laps to go, and defending that white line as much as we can. We are running really low on battery now, so it's getting more and more difficult. The tyres are wearing out quite badly now. The rear tyres are approaching, I think, 70-odd%. They're approaching that danger period where we can start to get punctures. Anywhere above 75%, and a puncture can happen randomly. It can be a cruel twist of fate sometimes. We see Lance Stroll trying to go around the outside of us there. At this point, the tyres are really screaming for mercy, and here it looks a lot worse from Stroll's on board, but I really just had to straighten steering to lighten the load on the rear tyres. Otherwise, I was nearing on spinning out there, actually. That's how bad the tyres are. And here goes Stroll up the inside, final corner. He gets the move stuck. He makes the move stick, is the correct terminology. And he's through. I'm losing all brain capacity, it seems. I'm just focusing on the driving here as best I can. Ricciardo up the inside. I got the slipstream of Stroll, which was helping me massively. But Ricciardo is through nonetheless, trying to mount a comeback. But it's not to be. I've just got nothing left in the tyres now. I'm really just a passenger. We've got Sainz, or no, it's Norris now on our outside. But we do manage to hold him off for the time being. This is for a final point in this Bahrain Grand Prix. So when it comes to defending the final points paying position in a race, the gloves come off. All hell is going to break loose. I will literally crash the car if I have to, because the difference between P11 and crashing the car is nothing. I mean, it means I have to weigh that up in my mind a little bit more now that I'm in charge of the team finances, but essentially the result is the same. It's still 0 points if we lose this final spot. So that's something we definitely need to bear in mind. We've now got Sergio Perez behind us in that racing point, which is mightily fast in the straight line. You can see those behind us are really squabbling quite hard. Lando Norris is really getting obliterated by everyone back there. So let's endeavour to not get ourselves involved in that squabbling if we can. It is now the last lap of the Grand Prix, and look at that angry pack of cars looking to line me up into turn 1. Perez is first, Raikkonen is next, Grosjean looking to follow through as well. It's absolutely ridiculous on this last lap here. Perez is through. I'm going to see if I can use the DRS and overtake to get in front of Perez once again. A big dive bomb incoming, and we just get through. Looks like Raikkonen is going to follow through in the Alfa Romeo, and that car is the fastest probably in the field. The Alfa Romeo is absolutely ridiculous, so he is not the man I want behind me when I'm trying desperately to defend this final points-paying position in this Bahrain Grand Prix. We've got Charles Leclerc, who's recently just won. He crossed the line just briefly there, but now it's really tense on this last lap. Raikkonen trying to go for the Hail Mary around the outside of the triple left-hander. That doesn't work. Perez is now lining me up next, and I think he might get me. I'm out of battery now as he goes up the inside into the third sector, and literally, guys, I've got nothing left. There is nothing left for me to fight with this car. I've literally maximized every inch of life out of these tires, but I've defended as hard as I possibly can. We're 84% on the left rear tire. There's just nothing left. It's not going to be points for us today. I gave it my all, but once again, we just fall short.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
Is that it, Jeff? Wow. A bit of emotion would go a long way after the effort that I just put in there. But no, it's fine.
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
Another race, another win for Charles Leclerc and Ferrari. This seems so funny now. Now that we've seen the first race in Austria, and how much the Ferrari is probably going to get nerfed. It's going to be a very interesting dynamic to see how many wins them as a team can get before they fall off the ladder, it seems. It could be kind of like Bahrain Gp, seeing if they can just hold on to their lead before the others catch up, essentially. But there we go. It was... I drove really well. It was a monstrous effort trying to keep the tires in check. I was fighting a lot, and I feel like I did everything I could. Maybe could have managed the battery a little bit better in areas, but I had to deploy it because the pace in the engine, the pace in the car just wasn't there. That's the crux of it all, really. Like, we can have the best strategy in the world, but we just don't have the car under us that warrants a points finish, even under favorable circumstances with the strategy, with the safety car. In the end, the car just isn't there to get those positions that we really are desperately trying to get. I'm really just going hell for leather with the strategy, trying to sneak the odd point or two. It's ultimately what we need to get that 8th in the Constructors, trying to just get points early so that it makes life easier for us later. Unfortunate that Mick couldn't finish the race. It did mean that we fell short in terms of the sponsor bonus, but these things can't be helped sometimes. But guys, that is episode 2 of my team. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content on F1 2020. I would have really appreciated if you guys did subscribe. And I'll try and get out as many F1 2020 videos as I possibly can. I really am enjoying the challenge of my team, having to build the team up from the back of the grid, and just being in control of absolutely everything. I can't wait to show you guys how this journey, this season unfolds. And I'm very much loving the challenge so far. But let's continue it off where we left off. I think the next race is in Hanoi, so that'll be an interesting one to see how the car responds there. But until then, it's goodbye from me, and I'll see you guys very soon for another F1 2020 video.